Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Uh, Very excited for today's guest. We're trying to get my website on board, keithreza.com, so all dates and stuff will be up there. I'm doing pretty well, living the dream. Think I might catch a cold. Not excited for that. Um, but it is what it is, right? We got a great show today. I'm very excited to talk to this guy. I've been trying to get him for a while. You've seen him on Boondock Saints, Mystic River, Ladder 49, Person of Interest. One of my favorite films is In Good Company. The great Kevin Chapman is going to be here via Zoom talking with me. It's going to be great. I'm super excited. And yeah, I think you guys should be excited too. So, book me on Cameo. Really appreciating the love and support on the podcast. I'm having a lot of fun and all that stuff. So give us some more love and support. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and enjoy Reza Rifts with Kevin Chapman coming up.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hi,
Hey
Kevin
man, how you
Chapman.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
Thank you so much for spending time to talk to me. I've been trying to get you for a while.
Pleasure.
Yeah. All right.
How are
Uh,
things?
Things are great, man. How was dinner? I know you said you were having dinner before the podcast. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good actually. I had some friends stop by. They brought us some Italian from their restaurant, and it was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Are you in, where are you? Are you in Boston
I'm
still?
in Massachusetts. Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh. I hate to break it to you, but the Celtics just traded Porzingis.
Yeah, I'm not heartbroken over that by any means.
Well, you're not? Are you heartbroken about the holiday trade?
Drew Holiday. Yeah, I like Drew Holiday, but Porzingis.
So, Kevin, I wanted to start it off on something that I think I know about you that a lot of people don't know because my source told me this. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I wanted to know, did you used to dabble in stand-up comedy before you became an actor?
No, I didn't. I mean, I did, but so I have quite a few friends who have gone on to incredible success in the stand-up comedy world. What happened was I used to work at a comedy club in Boston called Nick's Comedy Stop.
Uh-huh.
And and I worked there as a manager. But you would hang out with the comics after work, after the club closed, and I got a pretty quick wit. So the guys started bringing me on the road as their opening act, but I just didn't have the passion for it. I know a lot of, like, Burr and Dane Cook and Bobby Kelly, and Jay Moore is one of my close friends. Uh,
Oh, I used to open up for
gotcha.
Jay Moore.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Jay and I have been friends, geez, over 32, 33 years.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I had a lot of friends who were comics. They would bring me on the road as the opening act, but I just didn't have the passion for it. People see comics, they see, as you see people doing, a 1 hour special on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, and they've been working that you know, cluster of material for, 6 months,
Yeah.
and they're in the comedy club every night, 2, 3 shows. And I just didn't have that thing in me.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting that you did because one of my favorite films is In Good Company, and when I
Right.
was when I was on the road with Norm Macdonald, who's the one who told me that you used to do comedy,
Yeah.
we used to watch In Good Company,
Yeah.
and whenever your scenes come on, I'd be like, "Ah, Kevin used to do stand-up comedy."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I know Norm because he was on Saturday Night Live with Jay.
yeah.
So that's how I got to know Norm, and I got to know Farley and some of the other guys, because um I was living in Boston. I actually wasn't even involved in the entertainment business back then. I was working for the mayor of the city.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I used to get out of work at 5 o'clock. I would walk to the bus station, and I would jump on a bus, and I would get down to Manhattan around 9:30. I would go to 30 Rock and meet Jay, and we would have a late dinner like 10 o'clock at night, and they would go through blockings. And then I would go to the rehearsal show on Saturday, go to the live performance at 11 o'clock, 11:30, and then I would go to the wrap party, which usually ended like 5, 6 in the morning, and I would
Yeah.
walk right to the bus station, sleep on the bus, and be back in Boston for to go to work on Monday morning.
Oh
So
my,
that's how I got to
how
know Norm and all those guys from those days at SNL, you know.
how cool is that? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
like,
fun.
yeah, like I wish I had that life, when I was young, we're working for the mayor and then doing all that stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. So it was a direct result of working for the mayor how I got into the acting world. So I was working for Mayor Menino, who's the mayor of Boston. So I started out, I was the mayor's liaison to the largest voting district in the city of Boston. It was called Dorchester. It was a community called Dorchester where myself, the Wahlbergs grew up in Dorchester, um, and an actor by the name of Neil McDonough was there. His family's there. Then he ended up moving down to Cape Cod. But so I was working for the mayor as a mayor's liaison to this community. I was working in a logistical capacity with a director by the name of Rob Spruill, who was
Yeah.
doing a movie called Squeeze for it was for Miramax at the time. And so I was kind of doing outreach work for the production, like letting people know they were going to be filming on their street and that type of thing. And I was fascinated by the process. I was fascinated by how many people it took to make a film. Um,
Takes a lot. Yeah.
so there was an opening in the Film Bureau, which is an office in Boston government that specialized in facilitating city services to these productions that came into the city to do, television shows, student films, whatever it was that was going on. So the mayor, I went to the mayor and I said, I was really fascinated by this process. I said, I think I would like that job. Um, so they gave me the job, and I was working with Dennis Leary and Ted Demme on a movie called Monument Ave. And I was working with Gus Van Sant on Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck at the same time,
Yeah.
simultaneously. And they both, Gus Van Sant and Ted Demme, both kind of looked at me kind of funny, and they're like, "Can you act?" And I was like, "I think I'm intelligent enough to." So Gus
Yeah.
Van Sant offered me a role in Good Will Hunting, uh, but then Ted Demme wanted me to be in Monument Ave, and of course, I didn't know anything really about the industry at the time, but I knew that the role in Monument Ave was a much bigger role than the one in Good Will Hunting.
Right.
And had, spent almost 20 years. I lived in South Boston. I'm like, who the
So
hell?
you know more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who the hell is going to want to see a movie about a punching genius from Southie? So shows you how much I didn't know, right? And
Right.
so anyway, I end up meeting with Dennis Leary and Ted Demme, and they gave me the script, and they said, "We want you to read this and look at the role of Mickey Pat." So I did, and I met them the next day for lunch. And Ted Demme said to me, he goes, "Tell me who Mickey Pat is." And I told him who I thought the character was. And he goes, "Can you get 3 weeks off from work? I want you to play him."
Yeah.
So I had no idea what I was doing. So I did. And then I was like, wow, I can do this. And so then I took a little acting class with this guy, Peter Kelly, in Boston. It was like a 3-week class or something, just to kind of get an understanding of it all.
The basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I got like a little part in Good Will Hunting. I got a part in Boondock Saints, in the bedroom with Todd Field. Um, so I started getting these, like, as I refer to them, 3 lines over someone's shoulder.
Right.
Uh, but then I was like, wow, if I can do this, I said, I knew that if I was going to have any success with it, I would have to develop a craft.
Yeah.
So, come 1999, I put all my stuff in the back of a U-Haul. I quit my job at City Hall, and I moved to California. And
So what was in your heart that's saying, okay, I need to do this? Because like that's a big chance a lot of people don't really take, and you took it, which is so
well,
admirable.
what I feel is like, not to sound, you know, I just think sometimes in life you have to take a chance, right?
Yeah.
You can always go backward in life,
Yeah.
right? I knew that if I went back to Boston, I could get a job working on someone's campaign, or, some opportunity would come my way. Um, so I said, I'll give this a go, see what happens. And it was blind faith. I didn't have a plan. It was just like I hate to say it was a calling, but it really kind of was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I say I brought everything to California, I had a sofa on one side and a love seat on the other, and
Yeah.
in my Harley Davidson, I drove between the two of them to keep it straight in the back of the U-Haul truck, right? To keep it from falling over.
Yeah.
And I sold that Harley Davidson to get married. But yeah, so that was it. I went and I got a job at the House of Blues. Um, and I bounced in the House of Blues at night, and
Right.
I studied acting during the day with a guy by the name of Cameron Thor, and I did that for a couple of years. I would get like, a role on The Practice. I would get a role on agencies, like some guest star on a show somewhere, and I did that for about 2 years, pretty diligently. And then when Clint Eastwood casted me in Mystic River, I never,
Game changer.
the
Yeah.
game changer, yeah. So
Yeah.
from Mystic River, I got Brotherhood, which I did for Showtime, and then just always, just I got In Good Company from Brotherhood. I got Person of Interest from Brotherhood. Jonathan Nolan was a fan of Brotherhood. So when I walked in for the audition on that, they were like, Freddie Cork, you know.
But how cool is it? Because like, you hear these stories all the time how like people were, discovered and stuff, and you were actually discovered, but you were also like you're a success because you were discovered a lot later and not just as a kid. You know what I
I
mean?
was
So
almost
like,
40 years old. I was like 38, 39 years old.
yeah, so like you give
Yeah.
guys like me in this position who've
Yeah.
never had a break in the TV world like
Right.
hope that it could still happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's peaks and valleys. It's a lot of work to sustain a career in show business.
Yeah.
I moved back 10 years ago from LA. And no disrespect to anyone who lives in Los Angeles or raises their kids there and has family there. I was like, it just wasn't for me. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted my kids to be around their cousins. I wanted family. I didn't want my kids going to school being like, my dad's working on this show. What's your dad working on? Like, I didn't
Right, right.
like everything in Los Angeles is around the industry, and it's what I do. It's not who I am, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't, and I never let it. I never identified as that. I wasn't that guy. I don't, you know. For me, I love the work. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the people. But all the other shit, I could really care less. I don't care about being recognized in a restaurant. I don't, like, I don't give a shit about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I just
No.
provide for my family. I want to do good work, of course. You know what I mean? Because that stuff stays forever. It's you know, you're I'll be long dead and gone, and you'll be turning those movies on, and you'll see my big head pop up there.
No, but you're absolutely right. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mean to disrespect Los Angeles either, but
yeah,
I fucking hate Los Angeles. Like
yeah,
I love whenever I go on the road because I
Right.
feel more at home on the road than I do in Los Angeles,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
And
I mean, for me, it was just like, and I love comics, man. I think comics are the coolest people in the world. Like I've produced a couple of movies. I have a TV show right now that we've been shopping around town with Robert Kelly.
oh,
Uh,
nice.
it's yeah, with Dennis Leary's producing it with Michael O'Malley and Dennis's son Jack, and Jim O'Doherty. We got a great team, and we've been taking it around town right now, in the midst of doing that right now. But I love comics, man. They're the craziest people in the world. You're all like a pack of lunatics,
Oh
but
yeah, for sure.
it's the best. It's the best. You know, it was funny. Talk about Norm Macdonald, and God rest his soul. He was a great, great guy, and just the funniest and quick-witted comic I've ever met, and just you know. But after SNL, after the live performance on Saturday night, each cast member had a car service waiting for them to take them to the wrap party,
Yeah,
and drivers used to draw straws to see who was going to take Norm,
to the
because
casino.
Norm never went to the wrap party. He always went to
Never.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, I mean, I toured with him whenever we did casinos.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest with you, Kevin. You know, if the show starts at 8, there's a
yeah,
great chance the show's not gonna start until like
yeah,
9:30 because Norm was also a professional poker player.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like they'd always have me to try and get him and he'd be like, I'm making more money doing poker than I am
yeah.
doing fucking comedy. So, but
Um,
a thing about Norm that people didn't really know is his favorite type of humor was romantic comedies, and you
yeah,
know, like I said, we used to watch In Good Company all the
really,
time. Yeah, that was one of our favorites.
that's funny. That's
Yeah, what was
Yeah,
it like?
he was such a great dude. I mean, like I didn't really know him that well. Him and Jay were pretty good buddies. And Jay does an incredible impression of Norm.
Yeah,
Uh, it's pretty funny, but yeah, everybody, everyone that speaks his name speaks nothing but high remarks. So
yeah.
that's good life is what that is.
I do have a couple questions on In Good Company, so
Okay.
I'm sorry because, like I said, it's one of our favorites. But I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
know, when you got the script, you know,
Right.
like how many rewrites on that script did it have? Because that was a pretty polished, humored script, like right from the beginning.
Well, it was funny. I think I did that. I want to say. Did I do that right after? I think I did that right after Ladder 49. Um, Clint is, Eastwood is the best to work for
Yeah.
because he just turns the camera on. He just goes, "Okay, fellas, anytime you're ready." It's like there's no cut action. Not. I got a funny story with Clint. So I do Mystic River. I get series Brotherhood for Showtime with Jason Isaacs and Jason Clark. It was created by Blake Masters, and
Yeah, it was a great show. Yeah.
yeah, and the great Henry Brommel, who went on to he did that big espionage show on Showtime that had tremendous success. Henry's dad was a CIA agent, and he was the producer. Geez, I'm embarrassed. I can't think of the name of the show. It was on Showtime, and it was Mandy Patinkin and forget who else was in it. But anyway, so I do Brotherhood. I'm doing Brotherhood. My agent Harry Gold calls me up. He says, "Hey, we just got a call from Clint's office. He wants you to come to Iceland and play a Marine Corps lieutenant in Flags of Our Fathers." Right.
Whoa,
So
Iceland.
yeah, so Showtime picks up to let me go. I jump on a flight. I go to Reykjavik. As soon as I land, they put me in a van. They bring me right to the set. And Clint's a very quiet man. There's no like his sets are like quiet. It's like you feel like you're working in a library. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, the car would pick you up in the morning at the hotel, and they would drive you right on the set. There was no like going to my trailer, having breakfast, none of that. It's like you went to the set, you come out of the car, and Clint would go, "Okay, here's our work. You're gonna be there, you're gonna be there." And you'd go right into blocking the scene, right? And
Yeah.
you block the scene, and then you go, "Okay, I'll see you in 30 minutes." You go to the works, hair, makeup, wardrobe, while you're eating your breakfast, while you're getting your hair done. In
Yeah.
30 minutes, you're shooting. eight
Yeah.
hour days, no bullshit, no like, I gotta set the lights and that. No, it's like 8 hour day. You get there at 8 o'clock, you're home at the latest 5:30, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, I get there. There's landing assault vehicles. There's shit blowing up. There's, Marines marching on the beach. I mean, it's just chaos.
Right.
And I come walking up onto the bluff, and there are three beaches in the world that have that black sand. There's this beach in Reykjavik, Iceland. There's Iwo, and then there is one in Hawaii. So that's why they shot it in Iceland. So you walk up, and it's like all this black sand, which is really kind of weird in its own right.
Right.
And I look up, and there's Clint standing there with his Marine Corps cover on, and everyone calls me Chappie. And he says, "Well, hello, Chappie." And I'm like, "Hey, boss, how you doing?" And I mean, I'm a middle-aged man, but I'm like, in show business terms, I'm like a 19-year-old kid. Like, I just did this huge movie with him. Now I'm doing this TV show, and I'm like, things are starting
Right.
to click. So I'm like, you kind of forget who you're talking to because we spent so much together on Mystic River. So it was like, it wasn't Clint Eastwood. It was just, this guy I worked with type of thing. So I'm like, "Hey, Clint, I got this show. It's in Rhode Island. I'm having a blast. I'm making all this dough. And he's just kind of looking at me, and he's just kind of shaking his head, and he's shaking his head. He's not really saying it. He's kind of looking at me. He just looks at me. He goes, "Okay, Chappie, we'll see you on the set." And he walks away. So they put all the garb on me, and I get the wardrobe on, and I got the hair and makeup, blah blah blah. I got my Marine Corps helmet, and I got, because I'm an officer, so I have a 45 and a carbine weapon, and they put me on a landing assault vehicle, and they send me out to sea. And when I tell you these waves were violent, they were so violent that they nearly blew me off the deck because
Oh my God.
the boat was, and I get motion sickness, and the boat was rocking, and there's a big, huge cleat in the middle
Yeah.
of the landing assault vehicle. So I literally had to put my arm through the cleat and hold myself tight to keep from getting blown off the deck. And
Yeah.
waiting for them to call action, and the boat's rocking, and I'm turning purple, and I'm trying to get in, the waves are hitting the side, and I'm just getting drowned. And all of a sudden, out of a bullhorn, I hear, "Hey, Chappie, how's that fucking TV show treating you now?" Oh,
Was that in the deleted scenes? That would have
that
been
was it.
great.
Well, it gets even better because he deleted me out of the whole movie.
What?
He called me up, and he says, "I got good news and I got bad news." I go, "All right, boss, give me the good news." He goes, "Good news, I got a great film. Bad news, you're not in it." But anyway, so getting back to what you had asked me, the Weitz brothers were great. I really enjoyed Paul, was phenomenal. And the reason I was talking about all that is I was not familiar with American Pie and all these, remarkably funny films that these guys had done.
Yeah.
So I was just in there throwing shit against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I see an opportunity, I'm just seizing it. I'm throwing. And Paul Weitz is just looking at me, shaking his head like, would you mind saying what's on the page?
Yeah.
So there was a couple that stayed in. I don't recall what they were, but for the most part, it was all about wrangling Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Well,
But
that
those
was
guys were great. Scarlett was great, and Topher Grace and David Paymer. I've always been a fan of his. So
oh, he was great.
yeah,
Yeah.
to play his partner was great.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then when when you're on Person of Interest, I wanted to ask you because you're also doing movies while you're also on a show. Like, does as an actor, does that confuse you by like how much work you're doing, or do you take time off on like how does that work?
No, I mean, I would always try to do the movies on a hiatus.
Uh-huh.
That's what I would always try to do, a film on a hiatus. But it just really depends. At that time, my kids were kind of young. So I was really more cautious of missing things.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends in the business that, um, have had tremendous success, but that all comes with a cost, you know? Um, and I found, it was my wife who kind of curbed me with this, because I would come through the door, um, feeling guilty being gone so long that I would come through the door like Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you get a bike and you get this, and you know what I mean? And it was my wife who said, you know what? Like, you don't need to come through the door with presents. Just come through the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and it took me a minute to kind of get acclimated with that. You know what I mean? Because you feel this tremendous guilt because you're gone every day, 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? And then when you're home, you're like hunkered down in my office trying to learn my lines for Monday. And you know what I mean? So it was, if it had to be something like, In Good Company, which was a great script and a great director and a great cast, for me to get involved on my hiatus, because I knew that when I did that, those things, it all came with a cost.
No, for sure.
Not to
And
get too
like
deep.
no, no, but
Yeah.
like I love deep stuff because like deep stuff I feel is more interesting than like if you do like a panel Conan, you only get 8 minutes and you gotta be funny. But I feel deep stuff we get to know the real person. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But what I was gonna say is I think that one of the highlights of being an actor is like I lost my grandfather. He was my best friend, and I have memories of me, of him in my brain. But when I
Mm,
lost Norm, I have memories of him on YouTube. So like I
right.
could always talk to him. So I think like that's kind of cool. What the coolest thing is, even though you're not home, like when you pass, your children and their children will ever be able to watch you and be like, hey, this is what Grandpa, my dad did. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's funny. My son is a junior in college, and
Yeah.
um, he just came to me. It was over the winter, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, Dad, I just watched Mystic River. You were really good." I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
dude, you're almost 21 years old. You just now
Yeah.
see that movie, you know? And the only reason he saw it is that his girlfriend's parents wanted to watch it. You know,
Oh.
and I'm like, dude, you see all this? Like, that's how this shit gets bought. The new car you're driving, like that's how you got that car.
Yeah. What about being like typecast? Because you play a lot of like political figures, detectives and stuff. Did you think like that helped your career, or do you think like it kind of like
I don't give a shit. I really don't.
really?
I
Oh,
don't I don't care about all that. My job is to make the guy or the gal on the poster look good. That's my
yeah.
job. It's not, you know what I mean? It's like you're never gonna go see a Kevin Chapman film. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? My job is to assist the person who is on the poster. You know,
Right.
my job is to be solid, give a performance, but that's it. I'm a role player, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that. And same thing with person of interest, like people weren't tuning in to see Kevin Chapman, they were tuning in to see Jim Caviezel and Michael Emerson. You know what I mean? And I
That's arguable. I thought you were the best one on that show.
Thank
I
you. I
like.
like to think I brought a little something to. I like to think I brought a little something to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff. I mean, in all actuality, Fusco could have got killed in the pilot.
Yeah.
You know, and the show would have just went right on. So that was a whole process. That's where I put a lot of pressure on myself to deliver because of the fact that Fusco could have died in the pilot, and the show would have been, just as good, and just, would have still went on to the success that it had, I think, because it was a tremendously well-written show. It
Yeah.
was very intelligent. It was, high concept. It was funny. People thought it was like a science fiction show until the whole Snowden thing, broke open, and then when it was like, wow, what the hell are they talking about in Person of Interest, Um,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Well, it's also wild because you got beat up a lot on that show,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's kind of like the whole Breaking Bad thing. I like to say is like Aaron Paul. He was supposed to be killed off in the first season, but
Right.
audiences loved his character so much. And I feel like your character, they had that thing. So I think when I say it's arguable, I feel like your
Yeah.
character was like really the anchor for the show. You know what I mean? That's just
Well,
my opinion.
and I think, and thank you, and I appreciate that. But and I think that's something that I learned early on. You know,
Yeah.
I remember when I did Mystic River, that was the very first thing Clint Eastwood said to me. He said, "You're going to anchor my movie."
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. He goes, "You're going to make all the rest of this stuff believable." You know,
Yeah.
he said, "Because I look at you, you're a Boston guy." He goes, "I can smell it off you." He goes, "And you're going to help." And Sean Penn said that to me as well.
Yeah.
Sean goes, "Anybody in this cast that doesn't stay close to you is a fool." That was his exact words. He
Yeah.
goes, "I'm an actor from California." He goes, "Anyone that doesn't stay in your pocket," he goes, "is a dummy."
Yeah.
And it was, and I learned that early on. It's like, and that was the thing that I brought to Person of Interest. You had this black ops, you know, specialist that you really didn't know his whole story. Then you had Michael Emerson, who was this billionaire, but you really weren't quite sure how he made all his money, and you know what I mean. And then you're like, oh, this guy Fusco, he looks like a New York cop and sounds like a New York cop. So the
Yeah.
rest of that shit must be believable. Uh,
Yeah.
it really took flight. I mean, the show, I think it was really unfortunate that show was canceled after 5 seasons because, I mean, we were canceled with almost 13 million viewers.
Yeah.
But
Well, here you
it
never
was a
know.
bit
It
of
could come
politics.
back though. You know what I mean?
I,
All these
I don't
shows
think
are
so.
coming back.
Yeah, Jonathan Nolan is he did Westworld, which got, 22 Emmy nominations, and then he's been just going. He signed a tremendous deal with Amazon, and he doesn't strike me as the type of guy who would reboot something,
Okay. Well, uh,
on to the next thing.
yeah. Well, the next thing we got to talk about because I feel this is one of the greatest comedies ever, and I also feel that this is one of those comedies that people who've seen it they agree, but it's also like so low under the thing that people might not have seen it. But Black Dynamite.
Dynamite. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, so, I wanted to know how is that experience? You know what I mean?
It was funny. I'm working out at the gym.
Uh-huh.
I'm living in Sherman Oaks at the time. I'm working out at the 24-hour fitness on Sepulveda, Magic Johnson 24-hour fitness. And this black Adonis comes over to me, just chiseled out of his head, and walks up to me, and I have no idea who he is at the time.
Right.
Walks up to me and he goes, "I'm a fan of yours, and I want you in my movie." And I'm like, "Cool, you know?"
Yeah.
So I give the guy my address. I come home from the gym, and there's a Hummer in my driveway,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, "Okay." And it's this dude from the gym who goes on to find out that's Michael Jai White. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to watch him in the gym do martial arts. I didn't know who this guy was. Um, but I used to watch him do martial arts in the gym, and I'm just like, whoa, I hope I never cross this guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And one day he walks up to me and he's like, "I want you in my movie." And I'm like, "Okay, man, I'll do it. Just don't karate chop me." And he gave me the script, and I read the first 20 pages, and I laughed out loud, and I was like, "You know what? I don't even need the rest of this. I'm good. I'm in. Let's do this."
Yeah.
Uh, and I had such a great experience with Michael, and his family, his wife, his kids, like everybody on that movie, that I went back and did Outlaw Johnny Black with Michael again in the whole family, you know.
Yeah.
We lost Erica Ash, God rest her soul. She was sick. And I don't know if you're familiar with Erica Ash,
I'm
but
not. No.
she was one of the funniest women I've ever encountered in my life. I mean, improv, like she could turn on a dime and just make you lose it. And
Yeah.
she had breast cancer and passed away a couple of years ago. But it was funny. Anytime like I had anyone, you would sit around with friends who were doing shows or movies or whatever, and they're like throwing. I love to throw casting ideas out to people. And anytime they were looking for an African American woman, that was funny. She was always the first name that rolled off my lips because I actually met her. She worked with my friend Michael O'Malley on his show called Survivor's Remorse, which
Oh,
was
nice.
hard. Yeah. And she played the sister in that. And that's where I first met her. And then I did Outlaw Johnny Black with her. But yeah, Black Dynamite, such a great time. Tommy Davidson and I are still friends to this day. I had so much fun. And it was like, I remember we were at Sundance, and that show was the talk of the talk of the turn of the festival, you know. I remember we
Yeah.
were downstairs at a party, and Michael was upstairs with Sony negotiating the deal. There was like kind of a bidding war for the movie. But Sony got scared of it. They had visions of Al Sharpton, you know, uh,
Yeah.
picketing the Sony lot, and they kind of bought it and kind of shelved it. But it's funny because I'll be in a grocery store, and the college kid who's bagging the groceries will be like, O'Leary, it's pretty funny.
Sometimes a cult classic though is more strong than a hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like,
that was probably one of the funniest movies I ever did that nobody ever really saw. It's like
yeah.
a lot of the college kids in college campuses watch it. But yeah, that was a funny, funny movie.
Yeah. Kevin, I want to respect your time, but I have three more questions. Is it cool if
Sure.
I ask these?
Yeah, sure. Hey, man.
Okay, cool. I wanted to ask you about CODA because I thought CODA was a beautiful film, and I
Yeah.
wanted to know like how did that process come, and did you know that it was going to be like so well received like that?
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah,
And Sean, I mean, wow, what a director. Like
yeah,
she was like, I mean, wow, she's like that woman has such a vision. Um, See, for me, Kodo, I have five cousins who are deaf and mute with no peripheral vision.
okay,
So for me, it was a different thing when I read it. I didn't care what the role was. I just wanted to be part of the film, you know?
yeah,
Um, and I went up and met with Sean and Angela Perry, who did the casting. Um, I knew that film was either going to be, or I knew it was either going to have the success that it had,
uh-huh,
or it was going to be a complete colossal bomb.
okay.
You know?
So
Uh,
like you knew it was either going to be one of the others.
yeah, I
Like,
mean, it was like there could have been no middle of the road because as I'm reading it, I'm just like, wow, man, she's taking a big leap here. Like and even when we were filming it, she like she had this vision, but she really wasn't sharing it. She was kind of protecting it.
right,
You know what I mean? So it was like I was trying to get a read on her, but didn't she didn't really reveal very much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I think for me, the moment in that film that really drove it home was when my character is breaking up the fight in the barroom and she
yeah,
drops the sound in the movie. I thought that was genius.
yeah, yeah,
What it made the audience experience what people who have a hearing deficiency have to experience every day. And yeah, man, hats off to Sean. She kicks ass as a director. She's really good.
Yeah. I mean, so like that's one of the things that I'm not too in love with Hollywood about, because I feel like with disabilities and stuff, they kind of always get it wrong. Like I have autism, and every movie I've ever seen about people with autism, they always get it wrong. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a couple that are right on the notch, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, it's just like, and I feel like movies of storytelling, they should be heartwarming and uplifting, and I really thought Coda was really like that, so I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and what do I know? Like I tell people, I'm just a guy who wears makeup for a living. So, what the hell do I know?
Yeah,
One of these guys who like, because I've been in a couple of movies, all of a sudden I'm so much smarter than everyone else. I feel Hollywood today is a business.
yeah,
Before it, before it was creative people who had business sense. Okay.
right,
So they would like, yeah, we're in this to make money, but we also know what we're doing, right?
right,
Today's Hollywood, man, you got a bunch of dudes from Harvard and Yale and Princeton, and they all they care about is bottom line, bottom line, bottom line. That's why you have so much regurgitated bullshit. Like how many
mhm,
fucking superheroes can we have?
exactly, yeah,
I mean, they're coming up with shit now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I've read books my whole life. I've never heard of that guy.
yeah, yeah,
They're like making shit up. It's like Diaper Man. It's like it's fucking crazy. You know.
yeah,
But and that's why we have so much regurgitated bullshit. It's like, Frank Dearborn started Walking Dead, right? And then there were like 27 zombie shows, right? Before
all Walking Dead, chat
Yeah,
like New York or something,
yeah,
like,
but it was like, and then before that, it was what was the one the vampire show on HBO, True Blood. You know what I mean?
uh-huh,
Then there were like 27 vampire shows. It's like because you don't have any creative people at the helm. You got a
yeah,
bunch of people who are like, what's the bottom line? How little can we make it and how much can we make over here? And like that's it's just a changed business now. It's like I said to my agent, sometimes I feel like I'm putting on bumpers on Buicks at fucking General Motors.
yeah,
Like it's
Th-
not before you like when I first got in the business, like Friday night, the cast would all pool money together and we'd buy a bunch of beer for the crew and thank them for a great week. And you know what I mean? And, you buy them t-shirts and you just try to give back a little bit because, like, Sean Penn used to call it the Lucky Club.
right,
We're part of the lucky. He'd say, like, a bill would come out. He'd go, like, all right, Lucky Club. That meant, like, everyone in the cast got to kick in because you're part of
yeah,
the Lucky Club.
yeah,
Like you can't even do that stuff anymore. Like they send out memos like there'll be no drinking on set. There'll be no, and it's just they've taken the camaraderie and the the I don't know. It's just the fun of it now is just kind of gone. It's just like do your job and go home. Shut your mouth.
yeah.
Take your paycheck.
Well, I agree. I feel like, films and TV shows back in the day were mostly about storytelling, and now it's
Right.
more about how much money can we make.
That's exactly what it's about. It's not. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Like you don't see very many art house films made anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to the Lemley Theater and you would see, something kind of cool and different. And it's like now it's everything is like bottom line, how much can we make? What's and that's frustrating in its own right. You see executives making 35, 40 million dollars, but then you see like the new thing now, what they do with actors is like they want to hire you for one day. And
And then
then
like
they
AI you.
give you like
Yeah.
no, they want to give you like 7 scenes.
Yeah. They
So
do
they're
that
like, yeah,
too.
we'll hire you. It's a 1 day hire, and then you get there and it's like, here's 7 scenes you got to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So they want to film it within 2 weeks instead of 3 or 4 months.
Like you would do a TV show and they would hire you for like say top a show, right? So
Yeah.
that meant you worked the run of the show, right? The new thing now is like they want to hire you for 1 day, and then you get there and they want to give you 6 scenes. So
Yeah.
they want to give you your 6 scenes, but they only want to give it to you
One
for
day.
one day. You got 1 day to do it. You know what I mean? And I refuse to do it. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, my final two questions. This one you might not be able to talk about, and if you can't, you could just hit pass, and
mhm.
I totally understand. But I looked up Shattered Ice, and it looks very, very interesting. And I was wondering, can you talk about that yet or no?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it was a nice little film that some guys make, and actually that came to me through my friend Michael O'Malley once again. Um, Michael O'Malley's been he's been my biggest champion for, I mean, he gave me a great turn on Survivor's Remorse, but truth be told, that's how I got Brotherhood. I got Brotherhood through Michael O'Malley, who was friends with Blake Masters, the creator.
Yeah,
Uh, and he said to Blake, he's like, "You got to see this guy Chapman," and that's how I ended up getting the role of Freddie Cork on Brotherhood. Um, and once again, they asked Michael to play this role of the coach in this film, but unfortunately, he was show running a show on NBC called Blended Family
okay,
with John Cryer. It was about it lasted one season, but Michael writes as well. He wrote on Shameless. He wrote Survivor's Remorse, which was on Stars, and he wrote this Blended Family for NBC. Tom Werner and him produced it together. So anyway, they asked Michael to play the role. Michael said, "I can't do it, but you should call Chapman," and that's how I ended up with that film. They sent me the script. Um, it was based off a true story in Needham, Massachusetts, where a member of the hockey team committed suicide,
yeah,
and that's basically the story of this film.
yeah.
Kind of,
It looks really, really good and interesting. So
yeah.
can't
I
wait
have
to see the final.
tremendous love for hockey. I'm a huge ice hockey guy, so
Yeah.
one of my passions in life is ice hockey.
Ah, I know nothing about ice hockey, but
Yeah.
I watched a lot of hockey with
Where
Norm.
are you from?
I'm from San Antonio, but
Oh,
yeah, but that's why my accent sounds very San Antonio-ish.
right.
But
I didn't know that San Antonio had an accent, to be truthfully honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they have like it's so weird because like San Antonio's have like it's like half Canadian, half Latino. So like it's
Oh,
kind
no
of
kidding.
like
Yeah.
so it's kind of like mixture of both
Yeah. My
worlds.
family now is from Hammond, Louisiana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
Uh, Ah.
they say things like, "Y'all want some sweet tea?"
I love sweet tea. Sweet tea is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. So I can, like the South is I actually produced a movie in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. Inside, we shot inside of Angola for 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Okay, familiar with Angola?
Yeah.
It's the largest correctional facility in the world. It's so large, in fact, it has its own zip code.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Does producing like does that just give you nightmares? Because that seems like that's the
Yeah.
roughest job.
Oh, it's like herding cats, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it was
Yeah.
fun. It was, it was fun, but once again, when we, got to the end of the road, there was so many restrictions when the bond company wouldn't let you shoot this scene and the studio wouldn't let you shoot that scene, and it was a challenging experience.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
well, Kevin, my final question for you, and
okay.
thank you so much again for doing this, and I do want to respect your time, but if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing everything you know now, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? Hmm. I probably would have told myself to work harder. I would have probably been a better student. I would have probably participated in more a little bit in life a little bit more, and took more chance.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's I have children now, so I see things through a different set of glasses. My daughter works for a U.S. congressman. She just called me. She's at the Capitol right now, and my son is getting ready to go to Barcelona in August for his first semester of school
Oh,
in
nice.
his junior year. He's in business school, and he's going to Barcelona for the junior first semester of his junior year. And I probably would have did more things like that. I would have probably, um, I probably would have, had embraced more experiences that came my way.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, Kevin, if Keith Reza asks you to do his podcast, say no.
Hey man, it was truly a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great dude, and the best of luck with your podcast. I hope you blow it up.
Well, where can the folks at home follow and support you? You got social media or something you want to be followed
Yeah,
on?
I'm not the biggest of social media guys, but I'm at the Kevin Chapman on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I am also on the X
Oh, the X.
at
Kevin Chapman.
Kevin Chapman, right?
All right. Well,
All
Kevin
right,
Chapman, thank you so much. And it was a real honor to meet you. And thank you. You really made my day today. So thank you.
awesome. It's very nice to meet you. Peace.
All right. All right, guys. That was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.